Have you ever made a decision and later wondered, what was I thinking? We all have. Our minds are powerful but flawed. They are susceptible to biases and errors that can lead us astray. Understanding these mental processes is crucial for making better choices in all aspects of life. In his groundbreaking book, Thinking Fast and Slow, psychologist Daniel Kahneman delves into the fascinating world of human cognition. He explains how our minds work, why we make irrational decisions, and how we can improve our thinking. This book is a game changer. It provides practical insights into the two systems that govern our thoughts and actions, System 1 and System 2. By understanding these systems, we can identify our own biases. We can then make more informed decisions in our personal and professional lives. Let's embark on a journey to unlock the secrets of our minds together. Imagine your mind as a dynamic duo. System 1 is the quick, intuitive partner, always ready to jump into action. System 2 is the slower, more analytical counterpart, carefully considering options. System 1 operates automatically and effortlessly. It helps us perform tasks like recognizing faces, driving a car on a familiar route, or solving simple math problems. It relies on emotions, intuition, and mental shortcuts called heuristics. System 2, on the other hand, requires conscious effort and deliberation. We engage System 2 when solving complex problems, making difficult decisions, or learning new skills. Think of activities like planning a trip, analyzing data, or writing a report. While both systems are essential for our survival and decision-making, they often clash. System 1's reliance on heuristics can lead to cognitive biases, systematic errors in thinking that deviate from rationality. Understanding these biases is crucial for making sound judgments. One common cognitive bias is the availability heuristic. This mental shortcut is something we all use, often without even realizing it. It helps us make quick decisions based on the information that is most readily available to us. This mental shortcut causes us to overestimate the likelihood of events that are easily recalled or vividly imagined. For example, if you can easily remember a recent news story about a shark attack, you might think shark attacks are more common than they actually are. For instance, we might believe that plane crashes are more common than car accidents because they receive more media coverage. The dramatic nature of plane crashes makes them more memorable, and thus they stick in our minds more than the more frequent but less sensational car accidents. The vivid imagery of plane crashes evokes fear and makes them seem more frequent, even though statistically car accidents are far more prevalent. This fear can be so strong that it influences our behavior and decision-making processes. This bias can influence our decisions, leading us to avoid flying altogether, despite the statistical evidence. We might choose to drive long distances instead, even though driving is statistically more dangerous. The availability heuristic extends beyond our perception of risk. It can affect many areas of our lives, from the way we judge people to the decisions we make about our health and safety. It also affects our judgments about people, places, and events. For example, if we hear a lot of negative news about a particular city, we might develop a negative perception of that city, even if we've never been there ourselves. If we have a negative experience with a particular restaurant, we might generalize that experience and avoid all restaurants in that chain. Even if it was an isolated incident, this can lead to unfair judgments and missed opportunities. By recognizing the availability heuristic, we can challenge our assumptions and seek out objective information before making decisions. This means looking beyond the most immediate and vivid examples and considering a wider range of information. Don't let vivid memories or sensationalized news stories cloud your judgment. Take a step back, evaluate the evidence, and make informed decisions based on a balanced view of the facts. By doing so, we can make better choices and avoid the pitfalls of cognitive biases like the availability heuristic. Section 4 anchors away how first impressions stick. Imagine you are browsing houses online. You are excited, maybe even a bit anxious, as you scroll through countless listings, each one promising to be the perfect home for you. You stumble upon a beautiful listing with a surprisingly high asking price. The house is stunning, with luxurious features and an extravagant design that catches your eye immediately. The price tag, however, is quite steep, making you wonder if it's worth it. Later, you see a similar house in the same neighborhood, but this one seems much more reasonably priced. It has a modest exterior and a simple yet charming interior. The price is significantly lower, making it seem like a great deal in comparison to the first house you saw. Why does this happen? The first listing acted as an anchor, influencing your perception of value. This initial high price set a benchmark in your mind, making the second house appear more affordable and attractive. The anchoring effect is a cognitive bias that causes us to rely heavily on the first piece of information we receive, even if it is irrelevant or arbitrary. This bias can significantly impact our decision-making process, often without us even realizing it. This initial information sets an anchor, and subsequent judgments are made in relation to that anchor. Whether it's the price of a house, a car, or any other item, the first number we see can shape our perception of what is reasonable or fair. In negotiations, setting an anchor is a powerful tactic. The first offer made often serves as the anchor, influencing the final agreement. This is why experienced negotiators aim to set the initial terms, knowing that it can sway the entire negotiation in their favor. The first offer often serves as the anchor, influencing the final agreement. If the initial offer is high, the final price is likely to be higher than if the initial offer was low. This is a strategic move that can lead to more favorable outcomes. If you're selling a car, starting with a high asking price can lead to a more favorable outcome. Buyers will negotiate down from that high anchor, but the final price will likely be higher than if you had started with a lower asking price. Understanding the anchoring effect is crucial for both buyers and sellers. It helps you recognize when you are being influenced by an anchor and allows you to make more informed decisions. Be aware of its influence and try to focus on the objective value of goods and services rather than allowing arbitrary anchors to sway your decisions. By doing so, you can make more rational choices and avoid being manipulated by initial impressions. Section 5, the pain of loss, why we avoid it at all costs. Have you ever held on to a losing investment for too long, hoping it would recover? It's a common scenario that many of us have faced at some point in our financial journeys. The emotional turmoil of watching an investment plummet can be overwhelming, leading us to make decisions that aren't always in our best interest. This behavior is driven by loss aversion, a powerful cognitive bias that states the pain of a loss is psychologically twice as powerful as the pleasure of an equivalent gain. Imagine the joy you feel when you find a $20 bill on the street. Now, compare that to the distress of losing $20 from your wallet. The negative emotions are far more intense, aren't they? Loss aversion explains why we are often risk-averse, especially when it comes to money. The fear of losing what we already have can be paralyzing, making us hesitant to take risks that could potentially benefit us in the long run. This fear isn't just limited to financial investments, it can seep into other areas of our lives as well. We are more likely to avoid a sure loss than to pursue an uncertain gain, even if the potential gain outweighs the potential loss. This is why many people stick with low-yield savings accounts instead of investing in the stock market, despite the higher returns that stocks can offer over time. This bias can affect our investment decisions, leading us to hold on to losing stocks for too long or avoid potentially profitable opportunities. We might convince ourselves that a stock will bounce back, even when all indicators suggest otherwise. This can result in significant financial losses that could have been avoided with a more rational approach. It can also affect our personal relationships, causing us to stay in unhappy situations for fear of the pain of separation. The thought of losing a long-term relationship, even if it's no longer fulfilling, can be daunting. This fear can keep us trapped in a cycle of unhappiness, preventing us from seeking healthier, more rewarding connections. Recognizing loss aversion is crucial for making rational decisions. By understanding this bias, we can start to counteract its effects. This means taking a step back and evaluating our choices more objectively, rather than letting fear dictate our actions. Consider the potential gains as well as the potential losses, and don't let the fear of loss paralyze you from taking calculated risks. It's important to remember that every investment, whether financial or personal, comes with its own set of risks and rewards. By balancing these factors and making informed decisions, we can navigate the complexities of life with greater confidence and success. Section 6, the perils of overconfidence. When expertise backfires, we tend to overestimate our abilities and knowledge. This is known as overconfidence bias. While a healthy level of confidence is essential, overconfidence can lead to poor decision-making, especially in fields that require expertise. For professionals like doctors, lawyers, and investors, overconfidence can have serious consequences. They may overestimate their ability to diagnose illnesses, win cases, or predict market trends, leading to costly mistakes. Overconfidence often stems from the illusion of control, the belief that we have more influence over outcomes than we actually do. This can lead us to take unnecessary risks or fail to adequately prepare for challenges. To mitigate overconfidence bias, seek feedback from others, challenge your assumptions, and be open to the possibility that you might be wrong. Remember, even the most experienced professionals are not immune to cognitive biases.